What's up, guys? So one of the more complicated backfields that we're going to have going into the season, I'm going to put my stamp on it. I'm going to say that it's going to be the Buffalo Bills. And that's assuming they don't make any additional moves. So they just brought in Damien Harris and they shipped out Devin Singletary. So a lot of James Cook stands still think that he's going to be the core guy there in Buffalo. A lot of Damien Harris truthers think that he's going to come and take over that backfield. I think it's a little more ambiguous, a little more of a toss-up kind of. And I think each guy's going to definitely have their role. And I figured it's probably a good idea to go into some of the stats. And I know it could be a little bit misleading, especially considering the fact that James Cook will be entering a new situation, and so will Damien Harris, right? So James Cook's he doesn't have Singletary to compete with. He seemingly will take a lot more work that Nyheim Hines might have been getting. And Damien Harris, same exact thing. He's going to a completely new team, completely new system, and he could essentially be, only the early down guy, which Damien Harris at his peak was kind of a, not necessarily a 3-down guy, but, 2 plus a little. So let's look at some of the stats. Now, again, these are not a huge sample size, especially for James Cook, so it's a little bit difficult. And I could cherry pick Damien Harris's 2021 season and say that's when he was, at his peak, or even his 2020 season where statistically he was really great. But I think, that's just unfair. So I think the best thing to do is to look at the most previous seasons. But before we even do that, let's just go back and look at just the player profile of each of these guys, right? And now if you look quickly, they're pretty much the inverse of each other, right? So James Cook does really well in the 40, and then fairly okay in speed, and then pretty poor in burst. And Damien Harris is almost the exact opposite of that. So Damien Harris is a bruising back. He's a between the tackles, one cut type of back, and James Cook is kind of your opposite of that. He's like your shifty, get him to the edge on these pitch plays and see if he can hit the edge and then hit into the open field. He's your big play type of guy. Damien Harris, I don't think is going to be getting too many big plays. And when he was with the Patriots in his peak, when he had 18 touchdowns, he definitely didn't have a lot of breakaway long touchdowns. I think he had 1 or 2. But anyway, so that's their profilers. This doesn't matter too much, to be honest. I mean, this is like a college workout metric type of thing. But I think an interesting thing was looking at each of their seasonal grades, right? And it's pretty concerning, to be honest. Now, we see that James Cook, despite a small sample size, he had a 73 in total PFF rating. 73. So you can't get any more average than that. And in passing, he was a 68. And crucially, in pass blocking, he was only a 26.9. That is the mega red. That is holy shit, sound the alarms type of poor. His running grades were not poor, or again, 76, pretty average. His run blocking, 52, not that great. To be expected, he's kind of a smaller, shiftier type of back. Now, here are some potential takeaways from that. Or actually, sorry, I'll go to Damien Harris real quick. Now, we'll just look at 2022 and keep in mind that Damien Harris was injured and Mac Jones took a pretty considerable step back in terms of his production and his quality, right? So the Patriots were just bad and Mac Jones was pretty bad because of that. And in that season, Damien Harris had a 75 offensive rating, total PFF, and a 55 in passing. Passing works. Like I said, he's not a receiving running back, but a 69 in pass blocking, which is pretty average, but not bad. It's not going to kill you. It's not a 26. And his rushing grade was 77, better than James Cook. So essentially, Damien Harris was better than James Cook literally in every single metric, and that's being a slightly older running back and dealing with injuries and being on a bad team. I don't know how many more metrics or KPIs should have negatively affected Damien Harris, and they should positively affect James Cook. He's on one of the best offenses, one of the best quarterbacks, who takes away a lot of the attention when it comes to rushing, and you're a receiving back at that, and your production was pedestrian. So, me personally, I think Damien Harris is a better running back. I think just if you look at the stats and if you think about all those things I just mentioned in terms of how each one was in a different situation, yet Damien Harris outplayed him statistically. So we know that Damien Harris was getting supplanted by Ramondre Stevenson. The Patriots were in love with him. I don't know why. That's maybe a story for another video. I think he's also just okay. But anyway, we won't talk about Ramondre Stevenson. So if you look back at Damien Harris's previous seasons where he was borderline elite, he had a 90 PFF rating in 2020 with an 86 in rushing. I think he was the highest ranked running back that season on PFF. So he's been declining since then, and you can make the case that in 2021, because of the declining statistical output, that's simply because of an increase in volume. Now, that's to be expected. As volume increases, efficiency should probably decrease. And in 2022, again, injuries and all that kind of stuff. So what does this say for us? Now, here are a couple of things that I think are important to bring up. So people say that James Cook is going to still be effective because he's a passing down guy. I say that that's not necessarily the case because the Bills, they throw behind the line of scrimmage 11% of the time, and they only throw screen passes 6% of the time. So they don't pass to their running backs very much. They don't use their running backs very much to begin with. So both of these guys, it's like trying to pick out who the ugliest girl at the ball is going to be. Like, I don't think either is going to be extremely productive, especially for fantasy. So keep that in mind, right? So Cook had the lowest yards after contact on his team. He had the lowest pass blocking score, as I mentioned, at 26. And the people who say that, well, he's a third down back, so of course his pass blocking is not going to be that great. My counter argument to you is this. Nyheim Hines, another third down back, had an 82 PFF rating in pass blocking. Theoretically, they both play the same exact role. While Nyheim Hines was the best on the team at an 82, and James Cook was a 26. Now, if you're a passing down running back on third down, right? So that's what everyone's saying. He's going to be the third down guy. He's going to get a lot of receiving work. You need to be good at pass blocking. That's why Nyheim Hines was a target. That's why they traded for him. He was an elite pass blocking running back who can also catch the ball. That's like the perfect combination for them. I don't know why they didn't use him. I really don't understand. I think they want to keep him for special teams. Very suspect, very strange. But that's my counter argument to that. Like, if you're supposed to be a third down guy, but you can't pass block, that means you're only going to be effective when it's third down and the ball is going to go to you. Otherwise, you can't be on the field. And, you know, on the other side of that coin, Damien Harris is an elite pass blocking running back. We know that. Last season wasn't that great for him, but we know that typically 60, 51, 60. His run blocking is great. His running. You know, his pass blocking 78 when he was in his elite season. So we know that he's good. We know that that's something that he could do well. So that leaves us with, honestly, like one last thing, I guess, to talk about is like, what do they look like on actually playing, right? I probably could have been playing footage this entire time. Again, James Cook to me is undersized for a running back, and he's not elite enough to like warrant being like a workhorse or the center of the offense. To me, he's just kind of there. He's just like doing normal third down running back stuff. You could see he's got some pretty decent speed, and he can hit holes. That's definitely something that he has. You just wonder if the Bills, if they want to take some of the pressure off of Josh Allen, are they going to a lot of draws, a lot of very like unnormal types of plays, a lot of pitches. This is a normal running play right up the middle. Did great, hit the hole, cuts once. Now, yeah, I mean, so James Cook, he's not bad. He like, when you looked at his footage going into the offseason, you're like, okay, this could be the dude. This could be the guy that they're really going to try to get going, because he is shifty, and he is, you know, at least when you watch the footage. Again, now this video was made by the Bills, so these are like his literal best plays like that he's ever had. So yeah, you guys be the judge. The few times that it's, now you can make the argument that now that they do lean more on Cook and they do focus more on Cook offensively, are they going to pass to the running backs a lot more? Could be the case. And I see him as kind of like a gadget, close to the line of scrimmage type guy. But Damien Harris, dude, I think he's going to come in, and I think he could get 10 touchdowns in this next season. I think a lot of the production that Josh Allen used to be getting is going to slowly start to fade, and they're slowly going to start giving it to other players, especially if they want to keep their franchise guy healthy. It just makes sense to me. Let's go to Damien Harris. I paused it on this play because I thought it was crazy. Or no, this isn't the play, but Damien Harris has some decent speed, even though he didn't like test very well. He has decent speed. He knows how to hit the holes. He's patient. He's a great one-cut type of vertical runner, which is exactly what the Bills have kind of been lacking. It's what Devin Singletary was. Damien Harris just is a little bit better, in my opinion. He's just a little bigger, a little tougher. There's one play against the Falcons that I want to show you guys. He fucking trucks some dude. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's this one. No, it's not. Oh, found it. So check this out. Pitch play, one cut, fucking annihilates someone. Annihilates him. Let's see that one more time. Watch his truck stick. Hits the hole, one cut, boom! Little boy. Yeah, man. I think Damien Harris is going to be the guy. I think he's going to get. I think he's going to have more touchdowns than James Cook. He might not have this. I mean, obviously, he's not going to have the same receiving work. He might not. If you're in a full point PPR league, James Cook might be the better. He might be the better hedge. He might be able to outproduce Damien Harris. Even if Damien Harris were to outproduce him in the touchdown department, I think the receiving work and the receptions themselves should put James Cook kind of either even or above him in PPR. But in like half or standard, obviously, I don't know who's still playing standard. Damien Harris is going to be my guy. He's kind of this dude that I'm going to be targeting like the 7+ round place, because I'm assuming James Cook is still going to have some pretty high draft capital during the draft season. And I think it's just going to go up as people start to kind of forget about the signing. They're just going to, there's going to be reports coming out of camp where they're going to be talking about how they're going to get James Cook involved, and they're going to want James Cook to be a centerpiece of the offense. You're going to hear all this coach speak, but I think when those games are happening, man, and there's blood being spilled, and it's tough and it's gritty, they're going to be putting in a guy like Damien Harris, and that's just what we tend to see, these veterans, the Latavius Murrays of the world, who continue to get work because they're just solid and they do their job, and I think that's what's going to happen for the Bills. That's just my take. Come back to this video. Come back to this video in 9 months. Call me a dumb fuck. I'm down. But anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video. If you do, like and subscribe, share it with a friend, and I'll catch you guys later.